table, come meet me at the carpet. Marley's table, come meet me at the carpet. Lucas's table, Natalia's table, and Betsy's table. We should be on our learning squares. Good way. Yes. Excuse me. All right. So we've been talking a lot about Stone Girl, Bone Girl, and using key details or important details in the story and how we retell those important details in the story. But first, before we do that, before we go through our learning targets, I wanted to do the poem again. I wanted to get some new volunteers this time and get a chance to read the poem for me. All right, let's do Pick a Stick, actually. Ready? Pick a stick, pick a stick. Who is gonna be? Pick a stick, pick a stick. I hope it's gonna be me. Let's see. Our new volunteer for today. 17. Marley, is that you? You want to give it a shot, girl? So let's stand up and let's try reading it. Try your best. Seashell. I don't want to do this one. You don't want to do this one? Do you want me to call on a friend? You can choose the friend. Who do you want to call on? Someone that hasn't gone yet. Yeah, who didn't get to go last time. Show of hands who didn't get to go. Ooh, we still have a lot of friends.
I do not know if I went last time. I didn't go last time.
Go ahead, Marley, choose. Sarah. Alrighty, Sarah. Stand up and give it a shot.
She sells by the seashore. The shells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. So if she sells seashells on the seashore, I'm sure that the shells are seashores.
Yes, that was nice. Good job. I know that's super hard to do.
Yes.
Let's choose another friend. One.
Just here.
That's just here. Right here. 21.
Angela.
Is that 20? Angela. You don't want to go either?
Two people. I really want to go. So that because I'm really good.
3. Is that you?
No, that's William. No, that's William.
So many other friends are not here.
No.
16.
Yes.
Amir, you want to give it a shot? You're not. Okay, choose a friend. Choose a friend to call on. Prince, give it a shot.
She sells by the seashore. The shell she sells on seashell, I'm sure. So if she sells on the seashore, I'm sure that the shells that are seashells shells.
Yes. Good job, Prince. That was really good. Okay, we're going to do one more. Let me see. One more volunteer. 10. Brady. You did it last time, did you? You did it last time.
I did it.
Yes, you did, Brayden. I remember now. You did do it. I want to give our friends that didn't get a chance to do it. 6. Isa, did you do it last time? I don't remember.
She did.
Show of hands who didn't get to go. Okay,
I didn't want
Isa.
to go.
Isa, pick a friend that didn't get to go last time.
I don't know if I want.
You're at C. Stand up, girl, and give it a shot. I don't think you're at C. Go ahead, you're at C. Try it.
shells are seashell shells.
Nice. Good. That was really good. Great job, guys. I know I wish I could get to all of you, but we just don't have the time. But those were some really good readings. I really like. It's true. I really like how the three of you that did read used our words that we've been talking about, which is perseverance and initiative. And you guys really persevered through this hard poem. And I know that's a really tongue twister. It's a really big tongue twister. Yeah, it can trip you up, huh?
They rhyme.
Yeah, they do rhyme. That was really good though. Okay, so we're gonna move away from this for a second, and we are gonna talk about our first learning target. This one right here, and we're gonna read it together, okay? I can use details in the text to comprehend the story Stone Girl, Bone Girl. Good. No, just this one. We'll talk about this one later. But the first one, while looking at it, what does it mean to comprehend the story? What does it mean to comprehend the story? Show of hands. You can tell me what it means to comprehend. Rourke. You don't know? You're not sure?
I thought it was a different word first.
No worries. Sarah? What does it mean to comprehend a story? What's another word we can change that big fancy word to make it easier for us to understand? Jefferson? Say that again? Complete? You're on the right track. You have a good idea. You guys, you want to help him out? Not quite. Not quite. Wait, is that your hand or are you just stretching?
No, I just get to.
Roy, do you want to give it a shot?
To agree?
Okay, we have good ideas. We have good ideas. But I will tell you an easier word. To understand something. So when we comprehend something, we are trying to understand it. It's an easier word. We know that word. Yeah. So when we read this out, we can say, I can use details in the text to understand the story Stone Girl, Bone Girl. Yes. And details, as we boxed in right here, are just how we add on to the story. They give us more specific things to look at, like feelings or pictures. All those help us look at the details of the story. And they help us later on tell it, but we'll talk about this one later. Alright. What if you didn't use details though, class? What would happen?
Gabrielle.
What if we didn't use details in the story? What would happen? Lucas? Yes. Yeah, right? It would be really confusing. I wouldn't understand too much about it. Sarah?
You didn't use details in the story. Like, what if you were telling something about the story? Like, you would be like, oh, they went to the museum to go. A lot of details. It's just short, so you don't have to have details to explain it. Very good, so the person understands.
Yes, I like that. You were very detailed with your explanation on how to be detailed. Roy?
Like, if you give the speech on a supplies a drawing, you're like, that's just a drawing. That's not like showing details because like you need to give details. Like, it's something about that, and that is the color of it.
Yeah, to help us, like we said, to understand, right? Details are important for us to be able to understand something. Yeah, I like those answers, and we'll talk more later. You guys can tell me more about your ideas later. But yes, exactly. Those are all great answers. We are going to now do our role play. we're gonna do we're gonna do our close read, then we're gonna do our role play. Let me switch gears a little. No, you're good. Very good. Alrighty, guys. We are going to be reading the middle of the story today. And I want you guys to really think about important details like we just talked about. So when I read it, I really want you guys to listen to those important details because later we will be writing about them. So it's important to hear them. We're starting on the end of page 8. That winter was the wettest and stormiest the town had known. Great waves smashed the little houses, and the cliffs became softer and more dangerous still. So Mary stayed away. The cold, damp air made Pepper feel ill. He looked old and tired, and sometimes he coughed so loudly that Mary felt afraid. One evening, some rich ladies came to Pepper's workshop. Mary knew who they were, the Philpott sisters, who lived together in a fine house above the town. Scientists, people said. The youngest of the ladies, Annie Philpott, wanted Pepper to build a glass-fronted cabinet to display curiosities, she said. Mary jumped up. She couldn't believe that someone else was interested in curiosities. "Excuse me," she said nervously. "Would you like to see my collection?" And she pulled open the drawer. "Oh!" gasped the ladies. "What wonderful fossils!" Fossils? Mary had never heard the word. The Mrs. Philpott smiled. They could see that Mary didn't know much about her collection. "I'll tell you what," said Annie Philpott. "When Pepper has finished my little cabinet, why don't you bring it to us? We can have some tea, and then we will show you our collection." For 3 long weeks, she waited for Pepper to finish the cabinet, but he seemed to be working more slowly than ever. Mary was very worried about him. But at last, the elm cabinet was finished. The wood was from the very same tree that had been struck by lightning and had almost killed baby Mary. She thought it was the most handsome thing that Pepper had ever made. Slowly, Pepper wrapped the cabinet in brown paper and tied it with string. His old hands were shaking as he kissed Mary. Mary had never seen anything like the Philpotts' house. There were expensive rugs in every room and maids to serve the tea. Most wonderful of all was the collection of curiosities. The Mrs. Philpott explained that the fossils were the remains of ancient sea creatures that had been preserved in the clay. Everything was so interesting that Mary forgot to be nervous. Then Annie Philpott showed her a huge tooth she had found from a great sea monster, she said. She told Mary she believed the rest of the creature was still out there, hidden in the cliffs. If anyone could ever find that, Mary, that would be the greatest treasure of all. It was nearly dark when Mary ran down the hill. As soon as she opened the workshop door, she knew that something was wrong. The workshop was so quiet after Pepper died. To Mary, it felt as if her whole world had fallen away, like the farmhouse on the cliff edge. And there was no money. Her mother began to sell everything she could think of, and still they went to bed hungry. One evening, Mary wandered up to the churchyard. A heavy fog hung over everything. Ragged clouds dragged at a lemon-sliced moon. As she came to the stone that marked Pepper's grave, something moved in the darkness. For a moment, Mary was afraid, but coming closer, she realized it was nothing but a funny little dog. A little dog with a coat like speckled Pepper. The dog bounded over and licked Mary's face. When she turned to walk home, the little dog came too.
At last it ran into the workshop and curled under the table. Perhaps you need a friend too, laughed Mary. From that moment, Mary and the dog were never apart. And that's where we're going to stop for today. That was the middle of the story. Alrighty. So I hope you guys have been thinking about those key details that we are about to role play with, because that's going to be super important for our classmates to understand what's going on in the story. What are you guys showing us? Alright, we are going to get into our work time groups like we did on Friday. There it is. And I want you guys to talk about, or I want you to use the dialogue that's in the story. So the dialogue, like Miss Feast talked about before, are the quotes around the characters speaking. So it's the characters' feelings and what they're saying in the story. Okay? We're going to use that when we role play. But first, before I tell you guys to go ahead and go, me and Miss Feast are going to model what that is going to look like for you guys.
What part should we do?
I want to start on this page. I'm going to start on this page. Okay. So it talks about how they're at the Pepper's workshop on this page, and
With the Philpott sisters.
yes, Mary Annie's in this too. She speaks down here. Okay, so I'm going to be Annie Philpott. Okay, I'll be Mary. Okay, perfect.
So that means I am a little nervous because I see that they have fossils just like I do.
That is a good observation. Yes, I can see that too. So I will be excited that you are in my home because Mary Annie has come to visit Philpott Sisters' home. Right? Okay.
So we're looking at the quotation marks where the Philpott sisters are talking and where Mary Anning is talking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only important details that we're going to show, not the whole page.
Yes. Alrighty. So, hi, I'm Annie Philpott.
And I'm Mary Anning.
Alright. Hi, Mary Anning. So, this is my display of curiosities that I wanted to show you.
Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Would you like to see my collection?
I would love to, Mary Anning.
Wow!
What wonderful fossils you've collected! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I just got them. I don't really know anything about them.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Mary Anning. They're called fossils, and we know so much about them. And I would love to tell you more about them.
Fossils. I call them curiosities.
We call them that too. We love that word. That's our favorite word, but they're actually called fossils.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
And I can teach you all about it over tea if you would like that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, let's wait. This is your learning partner.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Mary Anning.
Yeah.
When
Yes, Annie Philpott.
oh, why don't you show them to me over some tea, and we'll talk all about it.
Oh, okay. That sounds great.
Perfect.
And cut.
Okay, I'm so glad you enjoyed that little modeling for you guys. So, what did you guys notice that me and Miss Feast did? What did we do well on? Right.
That during the play you helped each other out.
Yeah, teamwork, guys. Teamwork. That's why we're in a group. I love that. Ryan.
That you had expected to do
Yes, expression. That's what we've been focusing on too, right? How we read as readers, we want to be expressive with the way we talk. We don't want to sound like this. That is so
boring.
Like a
robot.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Elena? Yes, details. Yes, Elena. We are adding details to our conversation, right?
So we can comprehend it.
Yes, to understand.
To understand.
To understand. Remember we went over that? To understand something. Syra.
I noticed that when you guys were talking, you sat for a second and you looked and you changed a little bit of things up and you were telling each other, oh, it's your line. And you weren't like being mean, being like, it's your turn.
Yes, because I do notice sometimes we can get a little frustrated with our partners, but it's all about respect and kindness, guys, like our rules that we talk about.
I didn't have the lines memorized, so I still
Yes.
needed to look.
And that was another thing. Thank you, Miss Feast, for pointing that out. Did you notice that me and Miss Feast kind of forgot our lines at times, a few times in the story?
We were looking.
And it's okay to look back at it just to make sure we know what the characters were expressing, what they were trying to say, right? It's okay to do that. We don't want to be facing the book the whole time while we're reading. That's why we give you a chance to role play and understand it before you come and present it. But yes, it's okay to still look back at the book for those details.
Yes, so you role play before you write.
Yes, good job. One more question before we go and role play. Prince.
I noticed that
Yes. Did everybody hear Prince's comment? Yes, just the right speed. He noticed that me and Miss Feast weren't reading too fast or too slow either, because we want our readers to be able to understand at just the right speed with expression. Yes. Awesome. Okay. We will move into our work time groups now, so you guys are able to role play, get together what you guys are gonna do and say, and then we'll come back and present it by groups. Sound good? Okay, go ahead and move around the room into your work time groups. Not right now. Okay.
What part of the story?
Yeah, they don't have to tell me. Class, really quick. Class.
Yes.
Thank you. I forgot to tell you that you don't have to do. Oh, wait. I need your attention, Tommy. Thank you. You guys don't have to do the same page as me and Miss Feast did, okay? We read 3 different pages in the book today, so you guys can choose to act out whatever scene in those 3 pages. Just within those pages only, okay? 8 through 14. 14 is the last. 14 ends on the dog. Yeah.
So the Philpott sister page was the first page. The second scene was
Are we listening? So we
Mary
understand?
and her mom talking. And then the second scene was when she found the dog.
Yeah.
Third scene.
So these 3 pages. Yep. Good. I see some of you on it.
No.
How about we do
Go.
remember and
No.
How about one turn into
Make sure we are using dialogue only, okay? So
I need to
read the whole story. We're just reading the parts where you
Okay.
no reading the whole story.
I need to categorize. No, I need to
Is it through it again?
Well,
Do you want to do this part that I
Yeah.
what kind of eyes is on the
There's
other
mental pot system, and then you guys can figure out.
Hold on. So the workshop was for the dad.
Marley.
So the workshop was so fun. Pepper died. So you are like
Why did you